So internet, I've come to a fairly odd realization, and that is, I think I'm growing up. Life unedited. So let me explain something to you. Obviously, based on my age and my status as a college student and my somewhat failed attempt at facial hair, I am not actually a kid, nor have I been for quite some time. However, I've always kind of had this weird mental dealio where I kind of tend to think of myself as being like a 10 or 11 or a 12-year-old kid. Not that I'm like super immature or unintelligent. In fact, I kind of tend to think I'm sort of the opposite of those things. There's a fuzzy in front of my screen. Blah. But the way I interact with the world and the kind of things I like to do and like the way I like playing has always kind of seemed to be like a little kiddish. And I don't really think that's a negative thing. In fact, I've always kind of liked the fact that I have this kind of naivety when it comes to certain parts of the world, and I like to approach things with wonder and excitement and discovery. And that was totally a reference to Adventures in Odyssey, so if you got that, that's bonus points for you. But as I've gone through my life the past month and a half or so, I've started to realize that I've started to take on a lot more responsibility than I ever really used to have. And it's not that I've lost all of that childlike curiosity that I used to approach the world with, but I've started to realize that there are some things that you kind of just have to take charge with, and maybe that's something like what being an adult is like. So for example, today actually I was helping build like the set for a musical at my old high school, and normally what I do is I just kind of go and I help like screw things together, and maybe I'll cut a few boards, but I tend to be just like the grunt labor kind of dealio. But today the director was like, hey, I need you to make these stairs, and I don't really have a plan for it, so you're in charge. Figure it out, calculate the things you need, measure it, tell other people what to do if you need some help, and just make them. And so I kind of spent the whole day guiding myself and doing this, and it worked out pretty well. In hindsight, there are some things I could have done better, but you know, you learn. And when I completed this project, I realized building something all by yourself without any idea of how to do it from the beginning is kind of a grown-up type dealio thing to do. Or another example, at my college, I volunteered to help do some work with like video graphics type things, and I kind of thought, again, I would just be helping someone who knew what they were doing. But then they were like, hey, you're in charge of this whole video. Make it. Figure out what you need to do and communicate with the people you need to communicate with, and in 2 weeks it's due and it better be here on the deadline, and go. And first of all, that is a terrifying prospect to face, especially when you have no idea really what you're supposed to be doing. But second of all, it was kind of like what a job actually is. And I realized that as a college student, I should maybe be expecting these kinds of things to be coming my way. I mean, I'm looking for an internship and like more real job type experience things, but it kind of hit me all of a sudden that I'm at that point. I can't put it off anymore. And so sure, I plan to keep approaching life with some of that wonder and naivety and childlikeness type stuff that I always have, because let's be real, life is just way too cool to be bored with it. There are some things that should just be exciting about life, so I'm totally gonna hold on to that. But I've also kind of got to reach the point where I'm ready to go out into the world and be my own person, because I've only got 2 more years of college. This is 4, but 2, and job, life, adult stuff is right around the corner, and I'm not really sure that I'm ready for that, but I think I'm getting there. And so that's why I say I'm growing up, not I'm grown up, because let's be real, I'm not sure I'm ever going to be completely grown up. Yeah. So let me know down in the commentaries below, have you ever had this kind of revelation where you realize that you're an adult, or you're about to be an adult, or you don't really want to be an adult, or maybe you are just like a 4-year-old kid, and if so, you probably didn't understand half the words I said in this, so you probably can't comment anyway. Also, why are your parents letting you watch YouTube videos on your own? Shame on them. You have bad parents. That was random. Until next week, deuces. I just did that with my left hand, and I feel weird about it.